Hey everybody, welcome to Trayer Wilderness. I'm a little late here this morning, but better late than never. I have an opportunity here. I can't be on super long, but I wanted to just share with you today. I've got some inspiration to share with you as well as just our progress. It's a beautiful day here in northern Idaho and super excited about that. We are praying and praying for good weather, that it holds out and that we are able to continue to work on our tiny log cabin. If you've been following us on the short live videos I've been doing, we have changed gears. We are not building our home at this time. We are building 2 guest cabins to get us through winter, and then in spring we will jump on our home just at that point in the year where the weather can do just about anything. And rather than have our house partially up and get dumped on, we decided that it would be better for us to build our guest cabins, which are smaller and require less lumber and less work. And in doing so, it'll also give us peace. It'll give us some rest. We've been at a tremendous pace since April and super excited about the process. That was one of the key things that was really motivating our change, was that we want to be able to enjoy this process, and that we are. I've got so many praises to share with you guys today, but the mill just started up. I need to get out of the road. I'm just going to flip this around and show you some of our progress. Okay, right there. Come on, missus, come this way. Come here. Sorry, I got to get it out of the way of the blade. Okay, so I don't know if I can zoom that in or not, but that is the lumber we've milled thus far. It's a lot. From a front view, it doesn't look like much, but there's a lot there. I'm going to try to get a better angle. Good morning, Chad. Good morning, Tammy. Good morning, the Tinker's wife. Will you share your first name with us, my dear? I love getting to meet people, and I'm so glad that you are joining us, and I'm so glad Deb invited you. I'm gonna spin this. Well, here, I'll stop here. That's my burger. Ooh, it's bright. That's my burger for dinner. I'm browning my burger. I experimented with that yesterday. It works well. That is frozen, so I'm gonna let it brown my burger and get our burger going for dinner. I'm gonna make spaghetti and meatballs for supper tonight, so that is taken care of then. Right there is the lumber that we harvested yesterday, or the logs that we harvested yesterday. We had a very, very amazing day in the woods. While he is flipping that log, I'm gonna come over here quick. Sorry for the quick movement. I've just gotta stay out of the road. And I wanna also keep moving because I need to help. And I'm thankful that I can. Okay, so there you go. You can see we had a tremendous first 2 days milling. We've harvested this, and then day 2 and day 3 we milled this. Yesterday was day 3. We milled, and then we were still able to harvest the other 28 logs. So tremendous work getting done. I want to spin again. This right here is the slash that's coming off the sawmill, which is the scrap, and that is not going to get wasted either. That is going to be our firewood for the winter. So, nothing is getting wasted. We are getting a lot accomplished in a short period of time. The weather is amazing. It's a little warm, but I will take it. And we're getting ourselves all hooked up. That firewood for winter is going to get cut up to go in my wood cook stove. Actually 2 wood cook stoves, because we're going to have the second guest cabin going as well, probably. And we'll also have a bathhouse. He's building a small bathhouse to enable us to have baths, obviously, and also that we have it for guests moving forward. So I'm going to step us into the shade here and just share a little bit with you, see how you guys are doing. Bear with me here a second. There we go. Hopefully you're not right on top of the camera again. There we go. Okay, it was very bright in the sun, and it was hard to see the camera or the screen. And I'm on uneven ground here, so just bear with me. I'm just trying to find a place that this will stay. There we go. Move this just a little bit. Sorry. I'm telling you, this is quite something, trying to keep things recorded and going as I'm helping. It's really wild. But let me see. Patty. Okay, so we've got Patty, the tinkerer's wife, joining us. Thank you for sharing that. And everybody saying their hellos. I love it. We have such an awesome bunch. Oh, the fun of live tech detail. Exactly, right? Oh my goodness. Yesterday, I think I was showing everybody my nose hairs as I was trying to show them what was in my sun oven, but it is a little bit rushed right now, so I apologize for that, but rightfully so. We are working really hard to beat the rain. There's rain coming this weekend. Elk season opens on Saturday. So we've got a lot to accomplish, both with our home and filling our freezer and beating the rain. So if you'll help me in prayer that the rain changes and that we continue with good weather, that we can keep working and harvest an elk and fill our freezer and just keep doing it all. It's pretty wild, but it's awesome stuff. And it's so awesome. I love this. I forgot just how much I loved it. And you've heard me express over and over again how living in the tent was the absolute best time of my life previously. I'm so excited to be getting into these tiny homes. I don't know about you guys, but I remember this when I was pregnant with my children. You kind of get cooped up in your house. For me, as an early mom, I felt like I lost sight of me, of who I am, of who I was. You are catering to your children. It's just different phases of our lives. And, you know, it's necessary. We need to care for our children and everything. But I think there's a balance to be had. And that was one time that it really stood out to me, that I was losing sight of myself. I was losing self. And and I say all that because when we were in the tent, I lost sight of the materialistic side of the world. And I fell into the simplicity. And now I am just so thankful to be in this place right now. I know who I am. I am in a place and at an age in my life where I have learned so much in a way to find balance, to find that balance of self and family and God, and truly there is so much to be said in living the simple life and living in simplicity, where you're removed from stuff. Right now, I've been carrying around a Tupperware container that has my calendar in it and my journal, my Bible, my keyboard for my iPhone so I can keep my writing going in a pinch, my necessities. But my necessities are in a container this big, and it's so awesome. And my pleasures, the simple pleasures in my life are so abound and so high and so right in my face. It's just amazing. And I would love to see everybody have the opportunity to do this, because it will put things into perspective for you. I truly believe that. And the reason I mentioned, losing myself was because we should not be living a life where we are losing ourselves in the midst of materialistic things, chaos, our jobs, keeping up with the Joneses, trying to live our lives based on someone else's terms. We need to find the balance that lies there, that is accessible to us all, in putting God first, in being good to ourselves. Because when we are good to ourselves, you've heard me say it over and over again, that we are able to be the best we can be for those we love. But it also keeps us intact with ourselves. And so many people walk around this planet lost and not knowing what direction to go in, what we're supposed to be doing. And I really believe that the answer to that question is putting God first, taking care of ourselves next, loving on our families, and living in simplicity, and being prepared. But those are the answers, in my opinion. And that's my opinion. But I'll tell you what, I would not trade this for anything. And I am praising God so tremendously right now that I am able to tote a chainsaw around the woods and help my husband limb up the trees we are felling, and being able to lift these things. Yes, my muscles are a little bit sore, but they're not terribly sore. I'm holding up well. I'm in the outdoors, which just rejuvenates me and fuels my fire. I just feel amazing. Granted, that's 2-cycle fuel is definitely getting me at times. So is the diesel fuel that's being used to lubricate the blade on the mill. However, I know how to take care of myself because God has taught me through my healing process how to take care of myself, even though I am walking in things that may cause me harm. It's part of the process. I do not want to be out of this process at all. This is so awesome to have my hands in this and to be involved in helping build our home and our guest cabins at this point, which will be our home for winter. But it's just such an amazing process. And I just wanted to share that with you guys and encourage you guys to step into those things that I mentioned. Putting God first, taking care of yourself, taking care of your loved ones, and being close to them, not missing what's happening around you. And just living in the simplicity of life, not complicating things. You know, I'm a web designer and programmer by trade. I have a lot of nifty gadgets and things to keep us going in this build and to record things and that. But those things truly complicate life. They really do. If the struggles I have periodically with them and trying to keep things going, but they complicate life and you get stuck in these rabbit holes. I'm feeling the simplicity and I'm loving it, and it's really nurturing to me right now. And I want to encourage you guys to really take care of yourselves and to really pay attention to these things. Good morning, Bridger. I'm glad you are joining me today. I'm waving to you, buddy. And I see Miss Shelley on here, and Miss Diana has made it. Good morning, sister. I love it. And Patty is the Tinker's wife. For those of you that just joined, she joined us a couple days ago. Deb shared the lives with her, so she has been joining us. For those of you watching the replay, please chime in, comment. Where are you joining us from? You know, we have such an amazing, loving community, and I'm just so thankful. It reminded me to say to you guys this morning, please pray for Terry Perry. He messaged me this morning or yesterday on a post I put out and mentioned that the doctors feel he has an extremely bad infection, and I want to just have us lift him in prayer. They are doing an MRI, and the doctor has assured him that they will take care of him, but he sounded a little discouraged, and he's been battling the cancer this year. So just lift him in prayer for he and his wife June. And if anybody else needs prayer, please list it in the comments below. Feel free to email me at prayers@trayerwilderness.com. We are a prayerful group of people. We have seen amazing and glorious answers to prayer through all of this. Keep Tammy and her family in your prayers. They lost her son-in-law's cousin, and she was pretty impactful on this earth. So we're just going to pray that they have peace and comfort, and that the people that she impacted on this earth will also be able to continue her legacy and impact others. She was very young and had cancer. So just pray for their family and those involved. And I'd like to lift up a special prayer for Pat Kenny. He is heading out this way to do some hunting this weekend. You know, he's been dealing with multiple myeloma, that he had a massive heart attack this year, and that he has heart and lung issues. So just pray for him that he gets the same renewal out here that I feel right now, and that he is able to enjoy his time out here. That's another reason I'm praying the rains off, so that he has a good, enjoyable time out here that's not too damp and miserable, because the last set of rain we had was very damp, very cold. So just keep him in your prayers if you would for me, because he's just he holds a very deep place in my heart. So I want to encourage you guys in another way today. I just feel so tremendously blessed by the way we live, by the opportunities we've been given, by the blessing of the skills that we know. And you know, the topic today was fine-tuning your skills. The reason I mentioned that is because yesterday I was racing around. I wanted to make sure my guys are fed well through this process, and I also want to keep my hands in and keep helping. So they milled the couple logs they had left, and then we all went into the woods. But in the meantime, I put burger out to brown in the sun oven. I'd never done that before. I wanted to see how well that would work out and how fast that would work, and it worked out very well timing wise. That it browned before we left. Before we hit the woods, I added rice, basmati rice, which takes longer to cook. I added kale and freeze-dried kale and spinach and jalapenos. It's really funny. I have to think when I say that because I always say jalapenos just to be funny. We have our own vocabulary out here. I also added additional seasonings and like 2 cups of water. Closed it back up and left. And when we came back out of the woods, it was done. The rice on the very top was a little crunchy, but not bad. I also made, and the guys laugh about this because I'm always fine-tuning and altering recipes. Melissa K. Norris shared in her weekend newsletter it was a pumpkin applesauce muffin recipe that she added chocolate chips to. I don't have time for muffins right now, but the recipe sounded amazing. And I didn't have applesauce. So I'm always improvising and adjusting my recipes. So I made and the guys were laughing because it's this long drawn out name. And then Christopher I think he called it Heavenly Goodness, but it's pumpkin apple butter skillet cake with chocolate chips and vanilla chips. And it was heavenly goodness. If you missed that, I'm going to do a separate video and cut some from my video I shared live yesterday, and then I added an ending to it. I will upload that and include the recipe with the adjustments I made, but it was divine. My chocolate chip cookie cake is actually a chocolate chip cookie recipe, but I just don't have time to do cookies. They're time consuming. I do take time to do them periodically, but it's so much easier to do a cake, and you can just cut it into squares and go. So I'm notorious for doing that, different types of skillet cakes and such, so that it's easy. And when we're working like this, you know, you want to eat well, you want to be fed well, but you also don't want to take a lot of time being in the kitchen. So these sun ovens just make it amazing. That's the other reason I need prayers for sun. It's still too dry for a Dutch oven. We got rains. We had a fire the night of the rains, or the second night of the rains, so that we were able to enjoy a fire while there was moisture on the ground, but it's just gotten dry again. And it's too risky. Plus you can see it's breezy, just not a good mix. So sun ovens work, the grill works, that's what I'm doing things in, but good eating. So I'll share that with you in another video, and I'm probably going to jump on live after I do this one just to do a day 4 update, so you guys know. You guys already saw the update, so if you see me go live again, you don't have to jump on again unless you want to, but it'll be the same as my intro for this video. So I see everybody welcoming everyone. And we had Chad and Shelly join us. Good morning, good morning. The tinker's wife said, needing prayer here, being isolated, widowed 14 months ago, been in a battle these past weeks. Oh, girlfriend, you got it. We will definitely be praying for you. I'm sorry to hear that. And yes, we will definitely lift you in prayer. And I'm thankful that you asked. And good morning, Miss Deb. Awesome. You guys are communicating back and forth. I figured you were at work this morning, Deb, and I'm glad to see everybody communicating back and forth and offering prayers up for each other. I love it. Diana, how's your shoulder? And how are you guys making out? And Shelly, we need to lift Shelly in prayer for God's will in her life, and that she has peace and comfort as possibly doors closed and other doors open for her. So just keeping each other in prayer here in general, I think has been a really huge asset for us all. We are so like-minded, and I just love that we can really be there for one another. So I'm always thankful when someone else joins. We had Ellie join us a couple weeks ago, and several others had joined in. So it's been a real blessing to see so many new people. And if you're watching on the replay and you weren't able to make it live, say hi, say hello. I check the comments regularly. I try to respond. I know I'm delayed on a couple of comments that have been left. I'm trying to find the time. It's pretty insane trying to keep up with my emails and everything right now, but it's all going well. Diana says, my shoulder is much better. Thank you. I'm working night shifts a couple of times a week now. Busy getting ready for butchering in a week. Yes, awesome. That's your chickens, I imagine. And glad to hear that you have been working night shifts. That means things have progressed and have continued. So fantastic. Continued prayers for that for you as well. And if you guys could just keep my skeletal system in your prayers too. I know that sounds funny, but my upper ribs keep popping out, which, and this is the ridiculous part. I'm hawking a chainsaw, I'm hefting logs around, and it's fine. But when I pick up like my shower gel, or what did I pick up the other morning? My coffee cup, the coffee pot, and my rib popped out. So it's just a part of the healing. I think it's the silicone that causes that to occur. So if you could just help me pray that I don't have any further issues with my skeletal, because when that starts to happen, I do tend to have other issues, and I don't have time for that right now. So I'm praying them away. But I want to see you guys fine-tuning your skills. You know, the more we use our skills, and many of you are in your gardens, and you're dehydrating, and you're milking cows, and you're living the life. And the more we do that, the more it becomes second nature. The more we do that, the more other people are seeing us do that, our children, our grandchildren, and they are able to learn from us, see us constantly doing these things. Some don't get it, others do. There is something very alluring to doing such things. There is something to milking a goat or a cow in the early morning. I remember that. I loved milking my goats. Granted, the one was very stubborn. The other was very enjoyable, and it was just nice being out. There's just so much to be said about not being cooped up in our homes. That's part why I said I'm excited for our tiny homes, because the guest cabins won't have as big of windows as our home will have, but it's a small structure. And granted, we will be, there'll be times where we are stuck inside, but there is something about being in a small space and getting out into the world. It just feels so different. And I know that we will be being forced into the wilds this year, which is why we are here. The other nice thing is, with our home, when we build it, we will have very large windows in the front of the house and in the side of the house that'll make us feel like we're sitting outside. So, and just to have the porches, I'm just so excited. I'm so very excited. The Tinkers, why Patty says, just bought an Excalibur last week, was using cold Ronco food dryers. That was insanity. Oh, that's funny. Well, and you've stepped up, so that's awesome. I have an Excalibur, but living off grid the way we did before with solar power, I could keep it going during the day, but I couldn't keep it going at night. Here, I don't have constant power. I've been watching my internet to see when it goes out, and I think at 1:30 this morning it went out. I was getting emails on my phone, even though they weren't coming across and waking me, they were still coming across my phone at that hour. So we have limited power, which it's not slowing us down. It's not making that big of a difference, and it's a really good feeling. It's a good feeling to really step back even further into a more pioneer type, traditional type lifestyle. And yes, I do need to have an internet connection, or I could not do this with you guys. I need a connection so that my son can communicate with me from 2 hours away at school. So, there's still that need to be part of society, but it's also a real refreshing feeling to not have such a need that it's debilitating at all. It's actually the opposite for us. Let me see here. Shelly says, Patty, there are recipes on the Excalibur website for dehydrating many different things. I was able to get one last year, new to me, and it works awesome. Yeah, you guys will have fun. Shelly does a lot of dehydrating, which is just so amazing. We are hoping to build a solar dehydrator moving forward. That will be the answer to our struggle out here. Patty says, yeah, I know a lot of people who use them and am collecting some recipes through them too. Still need to go on their website so I can take a look at those. Awesome. I'm working on trying some apple sugar. The split pea soup recipe is really good. Awesome. You're going to have to share that, sister. Patty says, I'll be making Christmas gifts for family with it. There you go. Awesome. We were talking about that last week. Excalibur dehydrators are awesome. Good for all who get to enjoy them. Very much so. That was Deb. Mine, I paid $20 for at a yard sale from people that only used it a couple times. I got to know them, so I knew that it was, you know, basically new out of the box. So it was a complete blessing. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to use that or not. I have to see what kind of power that pulls, if it'll work on what I have. So I might be putting that out for sale or gifting that to somebody moving forward. The salt and vinegar chips I made are really good too. No oils. Awesome. You know, I didn't think about that with the chips. Are they really crunchy compared to a regular chip, Shelly? That's pretty awesome. You said you boiled them down. When you boil them down, you could probably add like an avocado oil in there as well. I like to do that when I'm boiling things down to add that flavor. You got my mind churning. They are very crunchy. Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. How thin did you make them? Like, did you use a special slicer? We have I don't even know what it's called. It's old, but it's like almost like a grater, but it has the blade on it, and you can change the thickness. So I'm just curious if you sliced them by hand. If you're selling your Excalibur, Tammy, I'd be interested in purchasing. All right, I will keep that in mind, because there's a good chance I won't be able to use it, and if I have the solar dehydrator, it would just be sitting. So you got it, sister. All right, now I want to. Down below are a lot of links. I have been reading myself out of series. I read at night. I try to read at night. Last night, I tried to edit the 2 videos that I'm trying to put out. I have a video of how we work the logs onto the mill and how we use the mill. And I have a video of how we harvest our logs and the equipment Glenn has built and made and fabricated and so forth. And I want to get these videos edited and live, but the only chance I get is when my eyelids are closed. And I thought, well, instead of reading last night, I would try to edit videos. I had all the equipment sitting on my chest while I was laying there in bed. We prayed, and after that, I was done for. I had to put everything away. I couldn't even keep my eyes open. So eventually those videos will get out. I'm trying my best, but it's a little tricky. But I'm reading myself out of different book series. I used my slicer and made them as thick as I could. Okay, all right, good to know. But you hear me mentioning Millie Copper's books a lot, and I don't mention them just because Millie is a really dear friend of mine. I mention them because of the value held in those books. So I've been mentioning them every week. The links for them are down below. You can also get them on audio. They're starting to be available on audio. So if you haven't started the series and you like audiobooks, you can get the first book on audio. But it's TrayerWilderness.com/Millie Copper and TrayerWilderness.com/Millie Copper audio. But if you're new to preparedness, or you want to brush up on your skills, or you feel you've become complacent and need a good reminder, her books really draw you to think, really plant seeds. And I mention that because I've been reading myself out of some books and out of some series. I'm going to share a new author with you next week. Miss Mona shared the author with me a couple weeks ago, and I started reading the books. And although they are like Millie's, they're very different to me. But they draw you in just the same. And I think, too, that they are a really good book series that you will want to pick up on, just for the difference in the thought process. This takes you back into a very primitive level of living at this point, where Millies are working their way there. They're still in that apocalyptic setting where they're still being able to utilize some of the modern things. But that's the difference in the series. And also, I'm not sure how to put it into words. I'll think more on that and share it when I share it next week. But another good series. But I also, it's really funny, I listen to an audio book when I'm in my kitchen here that is more on the lines of like a self-help kind of book. And then I've been reading the cozy apocalyptic books in the evening. I really love my books. I love reading. I love having that opportunity. And that's the only times I get. But it's really good to be able to read, to brush up on things, to have a good library. And I want to encourage that of you guys too, is to make sure that you have a good physical library. In any situation, if our equipment were to go through an EMP or the grid goes down and you don't have equipment to power your stuff, whatever the case may be, having a physical library is going to be the thing that's going to save you moving forward, because we all have limited skill sets. That's why I said about fine-tuning our skills. We want to always fine-tune our skills. We want to always add skills, but having those books on hand to enable us to increase our knowledge as we go is going to be a huge asset. So remember that and keep that in mind. And don't become complacent in your learning. Okay, as thin as she could. I wondered when you said about as thick as you could, but okay, I get it. Diana says Millie's books are great. Yes, they are fabulous. If you make them too thick, that's what I was wondering. Shelly says if you make your chips too thick, they'll break your teeth. That's why I asked if they were crunchy, because we've gotten some chips recently that were really, really crunchy, and I felt like I was going to chip a tooth. It was crazy. Shelly says, Millie's books are so good. I know I could not put them down when I started them and could not wait for the next. So painful waiting for the next one. I know. In this new series, I just read myself right out of it. The new one doesn't come out till October 18th or something like that. Patty says, paper backups. As we said in the brokerage firm, computers go down and so do files. Yes, exactly. Having physical stuff on hand can be so incredibly huge. Need to get Audible to listen to Millie's first one that she sent a link for free to me a couple weeks ago. Yes, exactly. You will definitely enjoy her books. And yes, when you join Audible, you can get your first book for free. So keep that in mind. I'm not sure what the guys are doing. They might be putting a new blade on the mill. But I want to read something to you today. This was today's devotional, but very fitting. And I'm so thankful to be of this mindset. And I want to encourage you guys to be of this mindset. It falls into place as one, being perspective, but two, also being courageous and bold, I guess would be a good word. And I know many of you are, but I don't know about those that watch us on the replays and that are secretly watching in the background there, you know. And I wanted to use this as a tool of encouragement today, because I am so grateful that we are embracers and that we are bold and we step into these things. And, you know, even though we are not building our cabin because it's too late in the season, it was a smart decision to make. And we learn to roll. We roll with whatever comes our way. And that is just a tremendous gift. And it's not something that has always happened. So I'm grateful that we are the embracers and are able to continue to keep moving forward and keep being able to accept the change that comes our way and not be hindered by it. The one thing you guys need to know is that not one decision on this homestead is ever made without seeking God first. We made the decision to change from our cabin to our guest cabins, and we were prayerful about that. We took it to God and looked for God's guidance on our decision making, because it would be terrible to be quarter of the way up with our home and get dumped on, whether it be rain or snow. Our logs would get wet. It would just make everything a mess. And we've been working so hard all year, and we want to enjoy that process. So making those sometimes hard decisions can be difficult, but at the same time, when we take it to God, there's a great peace and comfort that comes along with making that decision prayerfully. So not only are you looking at a boldness to take it to the throne, but also a boldness to be comfortable in that. And not everybody is, but it's something that is very, very extremely powerful. So I saw some messages go through. Let me just see. Deb said, hope she gets others on audio soon to listen while I'm preserving harvest and working around my garden and property prepping for winter and everyday life. I have to imagine she has that in the works, so hang on tight. I'm sure she will have those coming. I need to actually catch up with her to see how Joey's doing. Keep her and her husband Joe in your prayers. He fell hunting and broke his arm. She sent me the x-ray the other day after she shared that. It was pretty something. So, but he's still out there hunting. He's a diehard. So just pray for him for good healing and that he doesn't re-injure it. But I want to read this to you guys. We are well able. One Sunday evening, Mary Sutherland was in church when a stranger tapped her on the shoulder and told her she was called to be the music and youth assistant for the church. She thought he had lost his mind. She had just graduated from college with a degree in elementary education, and a friend had invited her to attend the church and sing in the evening service. That's all, or so she thought. When the service ended, her friend said, "You should at least pray about his offer." And she did. Here I am, 30 years later, an unlikely servant who lives in constant amazement at God's plan for my life. We let our weaknesses and insecurities dictate the course of our lives when all the time God is looking for ordinary people to do extraordinary things. We're always making excuses for why we can't get involved in church or in the community or in helping others or doing the exciting day-to-day tasks that we wish to embark on but choose not to. That was my addition. Chances are, on your own, you don't feel capable. And that's true. Many people do not feel capable today. Based on our upbringing, we had limited visibility of people possibly stepping out of their comfort zone, people following the mold of society, feeling we need to do the same. And so as a part of our upbringing and what we experienced in our lives, we feel that we are incapable of doing things. We need to stop that in such a huge way. We need to step into that and be willing to feel that we are capable of trying anything. We may not succeed at everything, but we are very capable of trying. So, chances are on your own you don't feel capable. Few people do. But Paul points out God's power works best in your weakness. When Moses sent 12 spies into Canaan to check out the opposition, 10 reported, "We have no chance. The giants are way too big." But the other 2 disagreed with the majority report and said, "Let us go up at once and possess it, for we are well able." We are all well able. God sees you as well able, not because you are powerful, but because He is. With Him on your side, you can rise up with confidence, knowing you are well able to overcome. God sees you as a winner and an overcomer who can accomplish great things because of the talents and power He has placed inside of you. You know, if we listen to all the naysayers in our lives and all the people that told us we couldn't, do you realize where we would be? Think about that, because I'm sure even if you are not a brave embracer and you're a little more fearful when it comes to new things, I'm sure that there were people that told you that you were unable, and you still proved them wrong. I'll tell you what, those words to me are the most encouraging words anybody could offer up to me, because I lived with people growing up that told me I couldn't and I wouldn't and I would be nothing. I wasn't ready to believe that, and I wasn't ready to accept that, and I praise God for that. That was a God-given thing. That was divine, because otherwise, could you imagine? I mean, I don't know. I just am very grateful that God played such an intricate role in my life in pushing me forward. And then I didn't heed the enemy's choices of words and phrases that were used in my life early on. And even still, I hear people telling us that we're crazy, that this isn't possible, that you'll never accomplish this or that. And you know what? Those those are as good as fighting words to me. It's like, you know what? Bring it on. And I'm glad for that. That is something that pushes me and my family forward. That is what keeps us going. That is what makes us the embracers we are. The mountain man and I both grew up in situations where we had those people in our lives. Him not being the most direct people in his lives, but still there were others that, you know, had shared, you know, that you'll never amount to anything, you'll never become anything. And it's a shame that there are people that speak those words, but those are hurting people that speak those words to begin with. And again, it's perspective, courage, boldness, and knowing that we do have his supernatural power on our side. And that is where we are at. We can feel his supernatural powers in our day-to-day right now, and it is just so amazing. You know, when you live like this, like we are right now, out in the wilds, I mean, there's a small layer of canvas between us and the wilds at night, and I can hear the coyote. I go to sleep, listen to the coyotes howling. I can hear other wildlife outside. My dogs are all snoring and breathing right next to me. It is just such a peaceful and amazing way to live right now, feeling God's closeness like that. And I just want to encourage you guys, don't be afraid to embrace things. Don't be afraid to fine-tune skills. Don't be afraid to learn new skills. Don't be afraid of anything. Realize that we have God so close to at our disposal all the time, and that it's not a religion, it's a relationship. And the stronger you build that relationship, because he's willing and able and waiting for you. If you don't have the relationship you desire, it's because you're not embracing it to its full abilities. And I want to encourage you to do that, because there is just such a great peace and comfort and amazingness to life when you're living it by your terms with God. So I hope you gained something from this today, because I just really love the way this was written. You know, we all end up in situations where suddenly things drop out from underneath us, or we're offered new opportunities, or, you know, God changes things up in a really quick, rapid way, and we don't know how always to handle those things. But I'm sure each of us can look back in life and recall one of those moments where it has been really an amazing part and lucrative part of who we are, what we've become. And those are the aha moments in our lives, when we see God really transforming us into what he wants us to be. Like I said yesterday, I think it was yesterday on a video, I never intended, actually it was a podcast I was editing, I never intended to be on the internet like this. You know, it just wasn't, this wasn't even a thought. So to be out here doing this and knowing that I am walking in God's will, and that this was his ultimate direction for me, it's pretty insane and pretty amazing. I mean, like a year ago, 2 years ago, I would have never been comfortable doing a live video. I hated live video. I love being able to edit out when I stumble and when I fell, but you know what? I'm human just like the rest of you. So that's why I don't mind the live videos anymore, but it took a little to overcome that. That wasn't a comfort zone of mine. So, you know, I'm sharing that because we're all alike. You know, we all have areas in our lives that cause us discomfort, and that we need to step out of our comfort zones to step into who we're supposed to be. And I just want to encourage that in you today. I know there were a lot of comments. Let me move this forward a little bit because I can't see them because of the light. Okay, there we go. Let's see. Okay, so Deb says she's praying for Joe and Millie. Patty says nothing is lost. We learn from things not working out in greater ways than in successes. Yes, very much so. We should be anyway. Very much so. And you know, that's the key thing, is as we grow in ourselves and in Christ, we learn as we go. We become stronger as we go. The things we walk out in life, you know, I've walked out some pretty grueling things, and I never blamed God. I never struggled in those places in that why me, and that was, I don't know, that might just be my mentality, because it's not a wrong thing to ask why me. Job did. But it's learning and seeing how God strengthens us through the hard times to walk us into the warriors. And I do believe that we are to become warriors for Christ. And as we walk through these different things, that's exactly what happens. And everything we experience in life has purpose. I am a true, complete believer in that. It just takes us to different places. It strengthens us. It gives us empathy for others in those same places. There's so much, so much. Deb says, so very true, Patty. When times are tough is when we dig deep and fall to our knees. Yep. Yep. And the thing is, with the relationship with Christ, you know, in my younger years, I'd only go to him when I had struggles. And that's a common thing, because when we are in the good times, we're comfortable. We don't need him. We don't feel we need him. But when you step into a place with him where you need him all the time, and you build that relationship with him, that it's so deep and daily, oh my goodness, it's incredible. And that's what we need to do. We need to learn that he is that vital piece that we need daily. And you need to make that a habit, and you need to realize how vital and valuable that relationship is. Shelley says, you're not the only one to have people tell you that you would never amount to much. I've even heard that from a counselor in 8th grade when I was making choices for high school. Thank heavens we moved. Oh, gosh. And, you know, there are people out there that when they hear those things, it's debilitating to them. And that's who I want to preach to today. You are so valuable. You, regardless what it is you are able to do, what it is you enjoy doing, you are valuable and you have purpose. And it's like, you know, to think that that was a counselor that's in a school talking to children, you know, it's something similar that the mountain man experienced. And that's just like brutal. These are the people that are influencing young lives. And just think how many have been debilitated. You know, I mentioned about what the things we experience in our lives and in our younger years that have molded us. Think about that. So that's why I talk about it a lot and try to share that a lot to build people, because there are so many broken people out there that do feel they are worth nothing. And it's like everybody has value. God created us all with unique abilities, and we all have such amazing values. And the people that talk down and have nothing positive to say are hurting people themselves, and it gives them pleasure to know that they're hurting somebody else. And it's a twisted mind that way, but it's just the way it is. Let's see here. Diana says, I have to run. Have a great day, everyone. You as well, Diana. Love you, girl. Okay, so I believe we have people that stop by. So, and I've got to get back to get milling anyway. But I'm glad I had the time to jump on here with you guys. I hope this was food for thought. I hope that this helped you in some way. But be bold and know that we are well able, all of us. And, you know, when you feel that you've hit a point where you are no longer able, that your powers are no longer able, remember that he's got the supernatural to add to that. So When you're struggling in a situation, when you are working on a project and you feel depleted, whatever the case may be, when you're walking out life and life is new, it's a new situation, don't be depleted. Seek Him for the supernatural. You know, we all hit those moments where we are on our knees and we are done. We have nothing left to give. But when you seek Him, it's amazing the peace and comfort and the renewed strength you will gain. I promise you, guys, we are not supernatural here. You know, we've shown you that we are, that we persevere, that we are warriors. But don't think that we don't weaken. We do, but we just know where to get our strength from. So I'm going to jump off of here, jump on and do a day 4 live short video, and then I'm going to get to work. But I'm going to continue to try. I'm going to do these every week, every Wednesday. I just don't know what time. Today just happened to work out. So keep joining us at 10:30 Pacific Standard Time on Wednesday here on YouTube Live. Otherwise, check in the community. I will put a post out if I change the time. Also, Facebook, I will share the time if it changes. I was thinking about it today. If I do go live in the evening, I will probably be sitting in a place where it's with candlelight, and I don't know, it might look a little weird because there won't be much lighting. But I was thinking about doing one at night at my special spot. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see. And keep praying for good weather for us. Good. I am glad you enjoyed the fellowship. I'm going to say a quick prayer for us all, and then I am going to let you guys get back to your day. Deb says, I need prayer for my other job to come through as full-time bus driver soon, if that is what God had in my plan. I'm a sub. Okay, so but you never know. Exactly. So I will pray and add that, and if not, that He opens another door for you. All right, guys. Papa, I just thank you for your amazing hand in all of our lives. You are constantly present and guiding us and directing us. It is our goal, though, to start seeking you more and making it a relationship and staying in that relationship and making it a habit. The relationship with you that I have is such a blessing to me, and I thank you so much for your constant hand in my life and that of my family's. I thank you for your love and mercy and grace that you show our audience as well, and how you've been answering their prayers. Be with Terry Perry and June. Bless Terry's body, just heal him and guide the doctors. I ask that you be with Pat Kenny, strengthen him, and give us good weather that he can enjoy his time out here. Be with Deb, just help her with her job and open or close doors that are necessary, but enable her to have the full-time job that she needs. I ask that you be with Diana and just help her there as well. Help her with her butchering and help her with her job. Be with Tammy and her family and Benjamin with the loss, and just comfort them and give them peace. And may those that were touched by this life continue to carry on that legacy. And be with Patty, just help her in her struggles and give her strength and courage and give her the peace she needs to walk out her day to day. And just be with everyone that is in need of your comfort and your hand in their lives. And just thank you for how you've been answering so many prayers. Mark just popped in my mind. Just be with Mark, Pat's son-in-law. Just help him in his healing as well. Be with my men and my body, our bodies as we are working here. Just keep us safe. Thank you for your hand of safety on us, and for all the productivity that we've been getting done. Thank you for keeping your hand on Austin. Just continue to guide and direct him at Moody Aviation. Just help him there, and thank you for blessing him with that opportunity and the amazing friends that he's gotten and the relationship that he's forming with you. And just thank you for what you have planned for him. Thank you also for helping his biggerthanautism.com to take off. Just continue to help us there, and may it be lucrative, but also may it be a light to the autism community. And just be with everyone this week. Help them in their walk. Allow us to learn that we are well and able. And thank you for your word and the blessings of your word. and how you've given us each skills and amazing abilities, and to know that we are beautifully and wonderfully made despite what others may feel, and the fact that we are not defined by other people's inability to see our worth, that we have worth and we feel that worth through you. And I just thank you for what you're going to do for each of us this week. Thank you for loving us, and thank you for the abundant blessings you will provide. We ask this in your holy and precious name of Jesus. Amen. So remember that, guys, that we are not defined by other people's inability to see our worth. That was something my mother-in-law shared with me back in 2016 when I had to walk away from my family. And those were some very powerful words. Probably the most powerful words I think I've heard in my life is that we are not defined by other people's inability to see our worth. We do have worth. It's just other people don't see it. They choose to make decisions, and like I said, there's a lot of hurting people out there that make bad choices. So more than anything, they need prayers. And I know that you guys are well and able, and that you have great worth. And I see that in each of you. And I just wish you a fabulous week. And thank you. Everybody's saying amen. And Deb says, awesome. So enjoy these times, Tammy and all. Loving the weather too. Yes. Yes, you know, guys, I say it every week. This is very renewing for me, and I greatly enjoy our time together. So thank you guys for taking the time out of your day, your busy schedules, because I know you guys are jamming too, to do this with me. So have a fabulous rest of your week. I will see you next Wednesday sometime, hopefully 10:30, and we will catch you guys later. Take care. I love you. God bless.